Hello, this is Yuan Changming hailing from Vancouver. Here is my debut novel titled Detaching, newly released by Alien Buddha Press. On this occasion, I am, needless to say, as nervous as excited. Nervous because I'm no speaker even in Mandarin, my mother tongue, let alone in English. As a matter of fact, I didn't begin to learn the English alphabet until I became an ESL student in Shanghai at age 19. Because of that, people around me, including my teachers and classmates then, and later my family and friends, often made fun of my broken English with a strong village accent. To prepare for today's oral presentation, I got little sleep last night, trying to think about and practice in my mind what I should say in front of a camera. At the same time, I'm of course very excited because this book stands for one of the 7 biggest happy surprises in my entire life. When I attended junior high school in rural China, I could never write anything longer than a page. So for each composition assignment, I would beg my Chinese teacher to show mercy on me by accepting 3 to 5 poems instead of composition. Later on, when I worked on my thesis and term papers or dissertations in Canada, University of Saskatchewan, I could usually draft no more than 5 sentences a day. Though I did have a dream book to write as early as 30 years ago, it remained wishful thinking only. But in early 2022, before I caught COVID, I began to write my first novel at age 65. Within 100 days, I completed drafting my trilogy. To my own surprise, within 100 days, I did that. Since then, I've written 40 short stories, in addition to more than 100 love poems and contemporary romance, most of which have been either accepted or published already, all inspired by one Chinese person who is an English illiterate, but who is my first crush. I re-encountered after 42 years of separation without knowing each other's whereabouts. In this Detaching, which is actually the first part of my ambitious trilogy. By the way, the second and the third parts will be published by a different press based in Los Angeles next year. I intend to tell mega story about Ming as one of the first new immigrants from post-Mao China with a typical Chinese cultural personality, tries, after achieving his Canadian dream, to find a meaning and happiness in life, mainly by developing a positive mentality based upon free meditation and self-examination. To give you a rough idea, let me read the opening passages about what Ming did when he lost his sense of direction in life. Actually, this part has been published already in Beijing Review as an excerpt titled Retreat. He's already tired But what on earth is really good about living? What's the meaning of life, if any at all? So tired that for at least 300 times before sleep at night, he has imagined himself leaving this world of red dust quietly, more or less like an African elephant, too sick, too weak, or too old to continue journeying with his herd, ready to set off all alone for the thick jungle, where he would find a suitable spot for a profound respite before dying without disturbing anything or anybody else. Yes, the time seems to have finally come for his departure, for which he is fully prepared now that he has won all he has been striving hard to gain, or whatever good life can possibly offer to a human being on this planet, including a reasonably good health, an elegant and well-mannered wife, a decent mortgage-free house located in a high-end neighborhood in one of the best places to live in the world, a quite handsome investment portfolio managed by two carefully chosen financial advisors, a couple of sons, each highly successful with his career, a doctorate extremely difficult for someone from remote Chinese village to obtain, a solid name with an impressively long list of writing credits, and half a dozen women with whom he has had an intimate relationship since junior high school, among many other things, all desirable for any man of his age. He has, that is to say, every reason to feel content with his life, and he actually is. However, despite all his earthly achievement, he is, in the heart of his soul, constantly bothered by the way he has become tired of living. Perhaps this is mainly because he has gradually lost his direction or purpose of life, or because he has failed to find its true meaning after all. Were it not for the irresistible inertia of life as a natural force per se, he might well have killed himself. In fact, he did do some private research and tried to find the surest and most decent way to end his life several winters ago. But alas, he really realized that the only viable method is to use potassium cyanide, which he has no access to, while all his other suitable recipes are either too painful, too uncertain, or too dramatic. Naturally, for the past few years, he has nurtured a strong desire to run away from his home in Vancouver, as well as his life in the fast lane, which is always so overfilled with sound and fury. But where to go? Apparently, within the boundaries of Canada, where he chose to live since more than 30 years ago, there's no place like African jungle for the dying elephant. He often thinks of Tibet, yet with a deformed heart muscle, he would experience more ischemia or chest discomfort than he could bear over there. He finds it opinion to go to Mount Zhongnan near Xi'an and join tens of thousands of contemporary hermits scattering in the vast mountainous area. But he doesn't like the idea of living alone in total isolation, nor can he really live on wild fruits or grass seeds only. After much deliberation, he decides to follow the advice of an ancient Chinese sage. The lesser hermit lives in wide seclusion, whereas the greater hermit does so amidst city dwellers. Another passage I would like to read is from a dialogue Ming has with one of his best friends, Merlin, a specialist in spiritual cultivation. What do you think we're all trying to get from this life anyway? Asked Merlin. Isn't happiness? Answered Ming. People may define it in different terms. For instance, as a suitable sense of self-fulfillment, self-contentment, or self-approval, or constant feeling of comfort based on health and wealth, or a positive mentality to embrace everything, good or bad, but essentially all human effort is made to live an easier and more enjoyable life. For most people, happiness is the ultimate goal of life, whether they admit it or not. I'm right on it, but the problem is most of them simply can never get it no matter how hard they try, even if they do exactly what their masters or mentors have told them to. This is perhaps because they seek happiness by relying on others rather than on themselves, from without rather than from within, and in a complicated rather than a simple way, Ming explains. Well put, dude. You seem to have done a lot of thinking in this respect, too, Merlin says, his eyes sparkling with a bit of surprise. Last but not least, I'd like to read two passages from the ending of the story, showing how Ming questioning whether he has already become really happy and where he could find a permanent place or home for his soul. Anyway, as Ming sees it now, cutting himself off from the red dust doesn't necessarily mean to have seen through all the sound and fury of the secular world, or gained enough wisdom. By logical extension, reducing one's desire may not always guarantee a happy life. As a sustainable mood characterized by comfort and contentment, happiness for non-religious people, especially those without a cheerful personality, must be an informed feeling that is acquired by way of Tao, wisdom, or any other form of enlightenment, rather than obtained as a result of the depression of the human nature. Such enlightenment is attainable to anyone in practice as in theory, for it has no necessary bearing on the kind of education one has received. That is why all people can live a happy life, though they may be widely different from one another in terms of family backgrounds, educational levels, character traits, financial situations, or social status. Once people develop a truly insightful world outlook, they can, self-consciously or otherwise, maintain an optimistic attitude towards all that might happen to them. Last one. Ming is not keen on the idea of going back home to see her sultry face and get stuck in the red dust like before, but he is no longer sure if he should continue living at Richmond Zen Center as a hermit or quasi-monk. Having spent exactly 100 days here, he has seen and heard more than enough to tell how the institution has become more of a business corporate than a meditation resort as he had originally expected. To an alerting degree, he has even nurtured a dislike for the money-mindedness behind every activity conducted in the shrine hall. But where else can he go? Is there a truly quiet and pure spot for him in this world at all? His needs are very minimum, for all he needs is an infinitesimal corner where he can eat 2 plain vegetarian meals served on time, sleep on a bell plank bed without disturbance, and do some free meditation anytime he would like to. He hates cooking all his life, and would rather starve to death than to be a cook, even for himself or his sons. But to avoid being a freeloader, he can always do some physical or intellectual work in exchange for his meals. He also hates crowds, especially now than ever before, but he has learned well to enjoy functioning invisibly among them. Can he hope to find a suitable place to live in, to cultivate his tranquility and detachment, to complete his soul? He has a He has a happy heart now, but a will and how he can develop a complete soul. That's all. Thank you so much for your precious attention, and I hope you would like the story more or less. And if you already do, please stay tuned for my duology, Mabakola, Paradise Ungained. Thank you again.